What's going on, Internet? Lambo here, coming to you again from my gaming area, the Nerdery. This time bringing you the third part in my series covering the miniatures I use to substitute for Gloomhaven Standees. Because I love me some 3D gaming terrain, and I love me some miniatures, and I don't love me so much cardboard and Standees. Not that that's anything wrong if you like that kind of thing, it's just not my thing. So, if you haven't checked out my first two videos on the topic and want to know what miniatures I use, you can check them out here. And otherwise, you can continue watching to see what I use. Or if you don't want to watch any of it and just want to see the list, go down below. Spoiler alert, it'll save you some time. Okay, lastly, I will be showing off one boss at the end and one thing who's not really a spoiler. It's not even a character in the game, but it's just, well, I mean, it is, but it isn't. You'll see when I get there. But I will warn you before I get there. So if you're one of those types who doesn't want to like see a boss, like picture or a miniature I might use to represent a boss, you won't have to. Okay, so without further ado, first and foremost, everyone's favorite living oozes. Yes, and I love them so much. I got a couple different models to represent living oozes. The first is the one I use to do the standard living ooze. That is a Gibbering Mouther by from a game called Wrath of Ashardalon. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons game, I think. I don't own the game. I just went online and found a bunch of miniatures from the game. But if you can get the game for a good price, it has a lot of miniatures that would substitute very well for Gloomhaven. And it could be a really fun game. I have no idea. Next to him are miniatures I use to represent living ooze summons, and that way we remember which living oozes don't drop coins, because that can get confusing when living oozes divide themselves like 20 times. So those are both 3D prints printed on an Ender 3. They are the Blob set by Rocket Pig Games. You can find that on DriveThruRPG. But yeah, that's what I use for my living oozes. Moving right along, ready for the world's loudest Lazy Susan. Okay, now we've got our snakes from Gloomhaven. These are also Wrath of Ashardalon. It is their snakes, I guess. I don't know. It's a Wrath of Ashardalon miniature. I found it online. Like I said, looks like it's a cool looking snake. I love it. And so I've got a bunch of those. All right, let's keep going. Now we've got our Cultists. Now, I've already shown Cultists in a previous video, the first one, I believe, but these are Wrath of Ashardalon Cultists, and I use them as my elites. So, like I said, Wrath of Ashardalon, if you can get that, you should, because it's got a bunch of cool miniatures you can use. So let's keep rolling. Oh, we're going to back up for this. So here we have what I use for a stone golem, and that is a Runewars Rune Golem. And Runewars is a Fantasy Flight game, and their Rune Golem is just phenomenal. I love that figure. He's really big, so he doesn't quite fit on the game space, but I rebased him, so that's like a magnetic base, and go like bloop. But he looks really awesome. He's got blue glowing eyes, but you can't really see him because he looks down. Great looking figure, Runewars. And if you like the game Runewars or just like the miniatures, now's a good time to get those, because I think the game's on the way out, and miniatures from that game can be found at a very good price. So if you like cool looking miniatures, I think Runewars is a good place to check them out. I actually just bought another couple boxes last week when they were on sale from Miniature Market. All right, and here we have, when they're in focus, Spectral Walkers. I'm going to come in a little closer again. Those are Cool Mini or Not Spectral Walkers. I use them for my living spirits, and I think they look great. Awesome looking models. Cool Mini or Not, I think makes great stuff. So there you go. And those are the last of my models that I use that are like pre-purchased, pre-made, that I don't print, because everything else you're going to see from here on out, except for the last things, are going to be 3D prints. So this are my cave bears, and if they would stay in focus, they are 3D prints on an Ender 3, not a resin 3D print. And I thought the detail came out really well with these. And they are by, where did I put that down? Oh, they are bears by Duncan Luca Shadow, or Duncan Shadow Luca, excuse me. And he's got a website. You can go and find his stuff. So if you like these bears, check them out. Now, we're going to get into some Inox. Oh, where'd my little standee go? He fell. Here, I'll pick him up for you. Oh, sorry about that. Bam. So these are my custom Inox that I created on Hero Forge. And I've shown them off before, except these are now my resin Inox. Because I picked up an Epax X1, and my camera's going crazy. And I love the Epax X1. The resin print is awesome, and so Hero Forge did a big sale back, I think, on Black Friday, and I just went to town and designed a whole bunch of stuff and paid dirt cheap. Paid for the files for dirt cheap. So I've got these updated Inox. Detail looks great. Love them. I'll link them all down below if you want to go look at those files. They won't have 3 horns because I did that in Mesh Mixer, but everything else will be the same. All right, and like I said, I went and did a bunch of stuff on Black Friday. And these are my archers, also 3-horned variants. So they're linked down below for the Hero Forge files, but you won't get the 3-horn because I did that on my own. And then this guy also won't have an arrow because I also did that on my own in Mesh Mixer. But everything else you can find on Hero Forge. I recommend it as well. And keep going. Earth Demon. I've already shown an Earth Demon before. This is the model I use for a standard Earth Demon. It is a Rocket Pig Games free file called a Earth Golem. You can find it on Thingiverse. And I just shrink him down quite a bit to get him to fit on a hex. And I probably should have made him just really tall and elongated him when I sliced him. But I didn't realize how short he was really going to be. So he's like an Earth Demon giant when compared to a Vermling or something. But, you know, normal Earth Demon still works really well. And then we have our Frost Demon, or is it an Ice Demon? I think it's a Frost Demon. I don't remember. And that, I already have an Elite giant one from Rocket Pigs Games, but this is what I found and printed on my Epax. And it is a Demon Ice by an artist or artists who go by the name of Crosslances. And you can find that on CG Trader. And they actually have quite a few models that would be compatible with Gloomhaven if you like their style. I liked their Frost Demon, but you could check out their whole portfolio and maybe you'll find some stuff you like if you're into 3D printing. All right, now we're going into, oh, too short, cut off his head. There we go. Wind Demon, or is it an Air Demon? Pretty sure it's a Wind Demon. Okay, so I looked long and hard for a model that I liked the style or aesthetic of to replace the Wind Demon. And I know a lot of people make their own versions, but everyone has their own thing that they like, and I had a hard time finding something I liked until I found these guys. So this first guy on the left is a physical model. He's not a 3D print they're all physical models, but not a 3D print. It is a Air Myrmidon, and it's from the Dungeons & Dragons Rage of Demons line, I guess. I don't know. You can find it on Miniature Market, and I like that style. And then next to him is a 3D print that I did on my Epax. It's a resin print, and that is an Air Elemental Myrmidon fan art, and by an artist who goes by Zenfire, if I said that right. You can find that on Shapeways. And that one actually might be free. It's a pain in the butt to support when you're printing it on a resin printer, but once you get it to print right, I thought it was pretty cool. It came out pretty well. And sadly, I also learned that resin models don't hold up well if you drop them on a concrete floor, because right before I started, my other one of those dropped from the height of a table and broke in like 4 places. So I gotta fix it. Hopefully I can. So yeah, resin prints unfortunately don't hold up quite as well as your plastic for when you drop them. All right. Now we have our Renning Drake. I love this figure. Oh man, I love that model. The Renning Drake from the source art kind of looks more like a salamander, and then a lot of the 3D prints out there that you can find also look more like glorified salamanders, and that's not my style. Nothing against people who make these awesome, it's true to the source art models, but I wanted more of a dragon mean looking thing. And Artisan Guild is where it's at, because that is Delani by the Artisan Guild. If you don't know who they are, they do a lot of awesome 3D print files. And so that is their cool Drake wingless dragon. And there's a lot of cool wingless dragon figures that I've found. There's a guy by the name, I think it's Lee Stansberry or something like that. He makes some really, really cool dragons, but they're too long to fit on a base. So if I shrunk them down to fit on a hex, it would be like tiny. But this dragon, because the way he's posed, who also looks really cool, fits. So I had to shrunk him down quite a bit. I pieced them all together in Mesh Mixer to make it one print instead of, because it comes in like 8 different pieces, and played with the supports, got it right, and that's what I have. Love it. Okay. That's the end of the regular monsters. Thank you for watching. I'm now going to show 2 figures who could theoretically be considered spoilers. One isn't really, doesn't even have a standee in the game. You would use a summon token for this person. But if you don't want to know anything about what you unlock in the game, or you come across in different scenarios, stop watching now. If you don't care and just want to see what I use, then you can watch. Because first thing is, and then I'm going to show a boss. Okay, so you've been warned. First thing is a figure. Her name is Hale. Hale is an Aether, or Aether. Same race as the Spellweaver, right? So purple chick was what I assume, because the Aether and the Spellweaver is a purpley chick. And she goes invisible, and she's a spellcaster. So I just went through my Reaper Bones Kickstarter box that I have over there that I've never painted all of them years and years later. But I found this one, and this is Autumn Bronzeleaf by Reaper Minis. So you can find that at Reaper Mini, and that's what I use to substitute for Hale instead of just a summoning token. And finally, the boss, Jexera, who we all know and love. Hopefully, if you've played the game long enough, you've met Jexera and helped her or hurt her. I don't know what you chose to do. But that is a customized mini that is also a Reaper Bones figure. It's Deladrin, the female assassin, but then I gave her horns and a tail. And the horns, if I can turn her a little bit so you can see an angle. The horns are Tyrannid claws. I used to play a lot of 40k and had a bunch of bits. And then the tail is a Tyrannid, what are they? They're these little, like, mouth bug things that, I don't remember. I've played 40k in forever. If you play 40k, they're these tiny little, the tiniest monster or Tyrannid bug that shows up. They come in like sets of 3 or 4, and you put them down, and no one hardly ever used them. But I had so many of those models, I just cut off the tail from one of them and threw it on as her demon tail. But anyway, yeah, that is my Jexera. And I think the model, oh my word, pretty true to the source art. So yeah, if it would stay in focus. Okay. Anyway, that's what I've been doing, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or whatever, let me know. Love to hear your feedback. I'm still always looking for new models. If you have new models that you like to use, let me know. I found somebody on Facebook last week, threw up some way awesome figures, and I went out to the internet and immediately bought a couple from Malifaux games to substitute for my Horrors. So anyway, I'm always on the lookout for new cool minis to substitute into my game. And as a final thing, I will give you a sneak peek of the next level I've been working on. Oh, so out of focus. Let's see if it'll figure it out. There we go. Boom. Utilizing my Taliesin Saber terrain. Cave. Into dungeon. If you know the scenario, awesome. And you will see this build somewhere else in the future. All right. That's me, Lambo. As a final thought, be nice to each other. Be kind in this world. A lot of problems. But just respect everybody. And treat everyone equally. And that's how we should all be to each other. All right. Happy gaming.